Today I'm going to show you the AUXITO Mini Electric Bike Pump. The AUXITO Mini Bike Pump is a compact, rechargeable electric bike pump that you can carry in your saddlebag or even your jersey pocket as an emergency inflator if you get a flat out on the road. Capable of up to 120 psi, works on Schrader as well as Presta valves. It has a digital pressure gauge. All you do is set it to the pressure that you want, connect it to your tire, turn it on, and it turns itself off automatically when it hits your required pressure. In this video, I'm going to show you how easy it is to use this unit, and we're going to test it to its limit on several different tires. This makes an excellent gift for the cyclist in your life. This is something I would love to find under the tree on Christmas morning myself. So let's take a quick look at it and we're going to test it to see how it works. To show you what is included with the pump, you get the pump itself. You get two adapters, one for Presta valves, one for Schrader valves. There's also an extension tube. The tube is simply screwed onto the front of the unit. It makes it a little bit easier to use it as you take this end and screw it onto the tire you're going to inflate. It comes with a USB-A to USB-C charging cable, probably about a foot long. Comes with a carrying bag to put everything into, instruction manual of course, and an adapter to inflate a soccer ball or basketball. Alright, as far as charging the AUXITO bike pump, you need a charging block that takes a USB-A connector. Alright, we're just going to do a quick test and see how well the AUXITO mini pump does on a 700 by 35 gravel tire with the Schrader valve on it. I've got all the air out of this tire. It is a tube tire, so there is a tube inside here. Before we do the test, I just want to show you how easy this is to operate. So you just press and hold this button to turn the unit on. The large number here is the pressure that it is reading at the valve here that you connect it to, or the tire you connect it to. And the little green number is the pressure we want to inflate to. So we're going to inflate this tire to 80 psi. So we just hit the plus. There's a minus and a plus button here. We just hit the plus. You can press it repeatedly or just hold it down. We're going to set that to 80 psi. If we're doing this at dusk and the light isn't great, with this button here, there's actually a little light here that comes on, so that can help you to see what you're doing. All right, and right now we have it set to psi. So if we hold the light button down, it changes to bar. If we hold it down again, it changes to kPa. If you hold it again, it's hard to see that, but it says kilograms per square centimeter. Hold it again, and we're going to go back to psi. All right, there are a couple of ways to connect the AUXITO mini pump to a Schrader valve. You can simply take this Schrader adapter and screw it into the front here. And then you would simply push the pump onto the valve and turn the pump on that way. Or you could take the extension tube, which has a Schrader fitting on the end, and screw that into the pump, and then you can take the other end and actually screw it on to the Schrader valve, and that way you're going to get a little bit better seal and you don't have to hold it on the whole time. So we're going to go ahead and do the testing with this configuration here. So let me go ahead and let all the air out of the tire. All right, now we have the pump set up. It is set to 80 psi. Right now it is reading 0. It is a completely flat tire here, so we're going to pump it up to 80 and see how long it takes. All right, here we go. All right, when it hits 80, it'll shut off by itself. And we did that in under 2 minutes, about 1:45 or so. All right, that's awesome. And we're going to go ahead and let the air out. We're going to see if we can do this another time on the same battery charge to see how many times we could theoretically pump up a tire on a nice long ride if we got 2 flats. All right, this is the second time we're going to pump up this tire with the same battery charge. Now the battery indicator after the first attempt went down to 2 bars instead of 3, but I did turn it off for about 5 minutes and we turn it back on again, so it bumped up a little. So I did not additionally charge this unit at all. This is just what happens. So we're going to try it again and see if it'll pump this tire up again to 80 psi on the same battery charge. All right, got nothing in here. It's reading 0 at the valve, so let's go ahead and give it another shot. All right, so just over 2 minutes, a little bit slower than the first time. It did quickly deplete the battery. We're now down in the red, but it did make it to 80 psi. So I'm pretty impressed with that. I doubt it's going to do a third time. I'm not going to give it a shot. I'm going to go ahead and try this on a different tire. All right, for this next test, I'm going to see how many times I can inflate my actual road bike tire. This is what I actually ride most of the time. It is a 700 by 32 tubeless tire, and I run this at 50 psi. I'm going to let all the air out of here. I'm going to see how many times it can pump up my specific tires when I'm out riding. All right, for this test, I'm going to use the Presta adapter on the end of the tube here. Make it a little bit easier for me to hold things in place as we do this. All right, and I'm going to set this to 50. Now we don't need 80 anymore. Let's go down to 50. All right, 50 psi, and we'll hold this so we can see. All right, let's get started. All right, 50 psi in just under a minute there. So now I'm just going to let the air out, and we're going to do it one more time on the same battery charge. All right, this is going to be test number 2. It's only been a few seconds since test number 1. Inflation number 2 on the same battery charge. All right, that only took a few seconds longer than the first attempt, and we're back up to 50. So far that's awesome. That's good enough for me to carry this in my saddlebag, 2 inflations on 1 charge, but we are going to give it another test. We'll see if it'll do it 3 times on the same charge. So I'm gonna go ahead and let the air out again, and we'll give it another shot. This will be the 3rd attempt on the same charge, so I won't be surprised if it doesn't make it fully to 50 psi, but we're gonna test and find out. Wow, okay, it did it. The battery is showing red right now, so the battery is extremely low, but that is 3 good solid inflations of a 700 by 32 tubeless tire. I'm pretty impressed with that. The other thing I like about this that I've noticed is the unit itself is not too hot to touch. The CYCPLUS and the Airbank units that I tested recently, and I'll put links in the description if you want to see those reviews, they have silicone covers. Actually, here's the Airbank here. They have these silicone covers on them, and this is because they get so doggone hot when they're running that you can't touch them. All right, so I'm pretty impressed with this unit, pumping up my tires 3 times, and this is considerably less expensive than the CYCPLUS AS2 Ultra that I tested, and the Pro. Those are typically well over $100. This one is considerably less than that. All right, on this next test, we're going to pump up a 700 by 25 millimeter high pressure tire. This one takes up to 120 psi, so we're actually going to test the limits of this pump by pumping this up to 120 psi just to see how well it does on the high end here. And this is a Presta valve. We're going to use the Presta adapter on this inflation. So let's go ahead and set this up to 120 psi. I'm just going to hit the plus until it goes all the way up to 120. I'm just going to hold it down. It goes up to 120. Okay, and that is the maximum. Okay, here we go. All right, there we have it, 120 psi in just over 2 minutes. All right, very good. So it is showing, it's not in the red yet, so I'm gonna do another inflation and we're gonna see if it'll pump it up. I know it's not gonna get to 120 a second time, but let's see how high it gets. Highly doubt it's gonna get anywhere near 120 psi a second time. And it doesn't say it will, but we're gonna see if it'll even get us home, if it's even gonna get us to 60 or 70 psi. All right. All right, we got up to about 90 some psi. It says it's hot, so it shut off because it's hot. I don't know if that's because the battery's depleted or if it's just actually too hot, because I didn't let it rest between pump ups, so it might be overheating right now. But in any case, we got this tire pumped up plenty enough to get home. I'm very impressed. 2 times to 120 psi on a single charge, as these little pumps go, is pretty impressive. I'm going to give this a thumbs up, on its capabilities. It didn't sound like it was struggling at all at any point. It works well. It seems to have a very good quality build. I had no trouble whatsoever getting this to work, and I have been kind of beating this up a little bit. I've been pumping up a whole bunch of tires in the past couple of days here for these videos, so I'm pretty impressed. So if you want to check out this pump, the links are down in the description. This is pretty close to the capabilities of any of the higher end CYCPLUS, which are probably the most popular and well-known pump brand that you can get right now. It's pretty close to that, and it's considerably cheaper. Again, I'll put the links to my other reviews down in the description so you can look at those and see how well those other pumps did on some of these tests. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see you in the next video.